Bromo Pizza, 555 Belch. Here's your Bromo Pizza.
Okay, thanks, Sonny. 1851. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Good. Have a good night.
With Bromo Pizza, you can eat the kind of food you want, pizza, and never have to worry about an upset stomach. Bromo Pizza, the flavor keeps bubbling up. Now you can laugh at your friends while they eat regular pizza and get upset stomachs, while you eat Bromo Pizza. Call 555 Belch. Remember, gone are the days of pizzas that will upset your stomach. With Bromo Pizza, you're already there. 555 Belch. Bromo, pizza.
Welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going on a quest for truth together. Well, here we are again, friends, and it's Wednesday. I did not do a show on Monday, which I had planned to do, but I fell ill, and I haven't been that sick in a long, over 10 years. So I apologize for not being on Monday, because I was going to be on Monday and then I was going to leave on Tuesday to go to my mom's house. Actually, my niece's house, because she's going to do Thanksgiving this year. But my mom's 85 and I just can't. I didn't want to bring something that she could catch, and I just didn't feel up to driving, not even today. But I feel almost okay to do a show, so I hope it goes well. And I thank you all for coming along, and I thank you for hitting the old thumbs up and sharing this on out to your friends, family, and social media. And we really appreciate that. Friends, memory is a strange thing. And remember now, we are going to be doing a free mini webinar on memory. If I can only remember exactly what we were going to talk about. But it's not going to be today. But look forward to that in the future. But a memory came back to me the other day. And it was a song. I only remembered a little piece of the song, but it's a song from the 70s. And it went something like, this is what I remembered. This is the last song I'll ever sing for you. It's the last time that I'll tell you just how much I really care. This is the last song I'll ever write for you. That's all I could remember. So I looked it up, and it'll be on the show tonight as we get to it. But, memories, that was such a good song. And it was all over the airwaves in the 70s, early 70s. And so I wonder if you all remember that song. It's one that played very often in Minnesota, where I grew up. So, and look forward to that. There's actually going to be a lot of music. And for people watching on YouTube, if you want to watch my show and you want to get all the music that I'm going to be posting, go to my Rumble channel. The link is in the description, because Rumble does not make you delete music. So that's just something. It is what it is, and it isn't what it isn't. And that's so darn true, isn't it? Well, alrighty, Aphrodite. Well, we're just downrange of strange, where the outrageous is contagious and the paranormal is the new normal. Isn't it now? Oh, yeah. Alrighty, Aphrodite. Well, let's go on over to Chatlandia and see who's all chatting over there. Shall we now? Oh my, we got a lot going on over here. And I don't have my glasses on because I'm trying to train my eyes to see again, you know. If you wear crutches too long, your legs don't work. So I'm trying to make my eyes see better by not using my visual crutch, my glasses. And first up, it's Catherine Weiss. That's Weiss123. And she says, "Hi, Aaron." And then she said, "I'll be over on YouTube tonight." And thank you for that. And then Kathy says, "Hi, Peggy." And then Kathy says, "Hi, Aaron, over on YouTube." And then I said, "Hi, Kathy, over on," is it on YouTube or? No, I think that's on Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. I get so confused. Doesn't take much. Doesn't take much. That memory show might help me, might not. We'll see. But the fact that I had a memory from the 70s is very encouraging. Yeah. Then I said, "Okay," to her going over to YouTube. Oh, and last show, we had a little bit of a conundrum. We didn't know where certain chats were coming from. And I believe they were coming from YouTube on the phone app or that strange thing, right? And so I was wondering, where did those come from? And that's where they came from, I think. And then I said, "Hi, Kathy, over on YouTube." And Cap78 Pack, Peggy Dancer. She's another one of our Ultramods. So Kathy's an Ultramod, and so is Peggy Dancer. And she says, "Hi, Aaron. Weiss123, Kathy. Didn't know you'd be on tonight." Yeah, I didn't know either. And I said, "Hi, Peggy. I didn't know either. I didn't either. I have been sick." Yes. Yes, I have been very, very sick. Like all my muscles ached and it felt like my lungs were crushed. Never had that before. So I don't know what that is. It's something. It's getting better. It's a lot better now than it was a few days ago. That's for sure. That's New Hampshire. Alrighty then. And then Cap78 Pack, Peggy Dancer said, "Yeah, me too, Aaron. So you didn't make it to your mom's house?" No, I sadly did not. And I feel very sad about that. Kathy says, "I may lose connection tonight. So just a heads up." Heads up. Thank you. Then I said, "No, I didn't, Peggy." Makes me sad. Yeah, it really does. And then look who else is here. Another one of our Ultramods, Dark Brain. He says, "Hi, Catherine. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Peggy. Happy Thanksgiving." Yes, and a very happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there, too. It's like one of my favorite holidays, you know. It's good food and family and good times. And then I said, "I hope we don't lose you, Peggy," her connection. And then I said, "Hi, Dark Brain." Then I said, "Happy Thanksgiving, Dark Brain, and everybody else." And look, and that's Dark Brain says, "Hello again, Catherine and Aaron." Oh, he's over there on YouTube. Hello there. And Dark Brain says, "Thanks." And Kathy says, "Hi, Dark Brain." And Peggy Dancer says, "Hi, Dark Brain, and happy Thanksgiving to you and all on here tonight." That's excellent. Thank you. That's very nice. And then Peggy Dancer says, "Man, my internet is so messed up. Ugh." Oh, my. Well, that's That's sad. I hope we don't lose you. Probably a lot of internet traffic tonight. Probably. And Dark Brain says, oh no, I hope you feel better, Aaron, soon. Well, I'm feeling a lot better today than I did yesterday or the day before. I was in bed all day, and it didn't help because when I got out of bed and all my muscles were aching, and it's terrible. I do not recommend being sick. And then Peggy Dancer says, I'm blaming it on the weather and being under the weather. Prayers for you and family, Aaron. Well, thank you. Oh, and look, it's Operation Shutdown. He's over there on YouTube. Hello, Operation Shutdown. And he says, because we're just downrange of strange, where the outrageous is contagious and the paranormal is the new normal. Yes, it certainly is. Thank you, Operation Shutdown. Always good to hear from you. And then Kathy says, don't forget about the copyright music. Right. Yep. I mean, on a replay, you won't be able to hear it on YouTube. Live, you might be able to hear it. I don't know. AI is getting so fast. You just don't know. Kathy says, PM, don't forget. Oh, I already read that. And then Dark Brain said, hey, Op, happy Thanksgiving. That's cool. And look who's here. Why, it's Brisa Tola Oza, 1769. Hello there. And it looks like a little pumpkin. Is that a pumpkin? And then Bristalaza, 1769. I hope I'm saying that right. I might not be. Excuse me. Gives a bunch of icons there. Thank you very much. And then Kathy says, hi, Operation Shutdown. I got to go over there and say hi to Operation Shutdown. At Operation Shutdown. That's right. And, well, the good thing about not being on the road and traveling and all this snow that we got snow today, is, don't have to worry about traffic or the weather. And I still get to be with family because Alicia and the kids were not going to go. It was going to be just me going because they were feeling a little under the weather. But then I joined right in. But it's all good. Everything happens for a reason. And you can ask a grape. Sometimes everything happens for a raisin, right? And then Dark Brain says, hi, Kathy, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, that's nice. And then Kathy says, happy Thanksgiving, Dark Brain. That's awesome. And look, we got Educas I 3034. Why you? He says. Well, good to see you. And Operation Shutdown says, hello, Dark Brain, 4211, and happy, and Kathy Weiss, 7814, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, look who else is here. Why, it's Celestial Soul, 28. Hi, Aaron and everyone. Feel better. Thanks. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. And Kathy says, happy Thanksgiving, Operation Shutdown. That's awesome. And Dark Brain says, Aaron, hopefully you can visit Mom for Christmas. That is the plan. And I saw my son. He came over to get some stuff he had stored. It looks like he's going to be deep frying a turkey. I hope he's careful with that. you know. And Peggy Dancer says, yes, Dark Brain. Maybe he can visit Mom at Christmas time. That's what we're planning, hopefully. Hopefully it'll work out. And Dark Brain says, be right back. Okay, buddy. And I said, hi, Operation Shutdown. And then Operation Shutdown says, hello, Hot Games and Puzzles. That's me. That's actually the name of my channel, because it was my company channel before when I started doing shows for Truth Quest shows. And Dark Brain says, howdy, folks. Happy Thanksgiving. Then Dark Brain also says, a few of us are on the other stream. If you want to come hang out, if you go to Aaron's channel, there are 2 streams running. Yes, there certainly are on YouTube. There's the phone version. So if you're on a phone, that might be ideal for you. Or if you're on a confuser, then there's another, I guess, landscape is a confuser. Portrait is the smartphone. Alrighty then. Well, my Goonie. Oh, my Goonie. Did you see the thumbnail for tonight? It's a picture of one of those mummies from Peru. That's just, it's very interesting, intriguing, and very sad too, actually. So let's go on over there and take a look at the thumbnail. Shall we now? Let's go over to the Book of Faces, or the Land of Zuckers. And there is our little thumbnail for tonight. And it's a juvenile, maybe 2 juveniles here. This one looks like it might have a tridactyl foot. I'm not sure. The head is totally caved in on this guy. But this one, even part of the eye is in there. It's, of course, all mummified, but, you know, some flesh still on it. And look at the size of the skull. Oh, my Goonie. That is not human. You know, and it's not like it's an anomaly that happened once and they found this. They found thousands of these things. I don't think they found very many little kids like this. But so, yeah, it makes you feel sad that this being passed away at what seems to be a young age, although we don't know. Of course, if we had the chronovisor, we could look back and we could see, couldn't we now? Anyway, so intriguing. Look at that. Like the shell of the eye still there in the right eye. It's so interesting. So interesting. Nick Sorter put this out. Major breaking: prosecutors have officially dropped the 2020 election interference case against President Trump in Georgia. Huge win for Trump, President Trump. The case brought by Fannie Willis never should have been brought. Of course it shouldn't have. The criminals were just afraid that they were going to get caught, and they didn't want to get caught. Now they're caught in a trap, and they can't walk out. Oh, no. Here's General Flynn. You might have heard this before. He retweeted this recently, and it's probably the best tweet he ever did. And proud to be a citizen journalist, because we are making a big difference altogether, citizen journalists. Check it out.
We have an army of digital soldiers. What we are now, I call them, because this was an insurgency, folks. This was run like an insurgency. This was irregular warfare at its finest in politics. And that story will continue to be told here. But we have what we call citizen journalists. Okay? Because the journalists that we have in our media did a disservice to themselves, actually more than they did to this country. They did a disservice to themselves because they displayed an arrogance that is unprecedented. And so the American people decided to take over the idea of information. They took over the idea of information, and they did it through social media.
True information. True information, not fake stream media stuff. And Operation Shutdown says, your vision is going to be so improved when you finally put your glasses back on. It will seem like you're using the chronovisor. Good one. I like that one. Very good, Operation Shutdown. And then Kathy says, please like and share this video with your friends, family, and social media. We would love that because it helps the algo rhythm and the algo beat and the algo melody. Don't forget about the algo lyrics. Thank you, Kathy, for putting that out. And yes, General Flynn, you know that he was a Democrat. Yeah. And here is one of the songs that you probably won't be able to hear on YouTube on the replay. I'm not sure if they'll be able to catch it, but just for the YouTube censors, this is for educational purposes only. Okay? Educational. It's part of my timeline. It's part of my story. I'm not trying to make money off it. I'm just trying to bring joy. All right? Here we are. Capitol Records, Blue Jean Bop. And this is part of a song by Gene Vincent. Great rocker from the 50s. And here it is.
I can't keep still, so baby, let's dance. Well, the blue jean bop is the bop for me. Well, it's the bop that's a dungaree. You dip your hip, free your knee, play along your heel, baby, 1, 2, 3. Well, blue jean bop, baby. I can't keep still, so baby.
Isn't that awesome? See, they shouldn't cut that out. It's a very small clip. Oh, did you know? Do you have a guitar? And do you live in a windy area? I know I do, but it's awfully cold right now. So I don't know if I would go out in this weather. But look at this, playing guitars with the wind. I've never heard of this. This is really interesting.
You ready to hear the wind sing?
Yes. Okay,
So
what do I got to do?
Do you feel the wind where it's coming from?
Yeah, like right here.
What you want to do is have the wind scoop across the strings. So hold your guitar out like this, angle it downward, and angle it side to side until it hits. There it is. This is the thing about the wind, is that it's going to like ebb and flow, and this is how I jam with it. There you go. And what's really interesting is that the standard tuning harmonics are so harmonious with each other. And it's just this ethereal sound.
So if I do like a C, like would it then do a C?
Try one of my tunings.
Yeah.
D, I call it digga digga bud. On this tuning, what I like to do is like pluck a lot of harmonics on the 12 and 7.
Yeah.
You ready to hear the wind sing?
Yes. Okay,
So
what do I got to do?
Do you feel the wind where
Isn't that cool? I can't wait till we get better weather so I can try that out. That looks just too cool for school, don't you think? Oh, yeah, I think. Alrighty then. Very cool. From Rob Scallon. Thanks, Rob. And here's my friend Jeff Foxworthy. Of course, he endorsed the 2 children's books I illustrated and were written by Judith C. Johnson, Popple and Popple's Place. And he's just a really, really nice guy. And he explains here in this clip how the whole redneck thing came about. It's so interesting. Here, check this out.
I would get advice like, look, Jeff, not for none, right? I don't want to hurt your freaking feelings, but you got to take some voice lessons and lose that stupid accent you got. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, where I come from, you have the stupid accent. But it was just trusting your intuition. And my intuition was, well, at least a quarter of the country talks this way. Why do I have to change the way that I talk? It's probably where the redneck jokes came from. I wasn't smart enough to think, oh, this is going to be a hook or it'll end up being books or calendars or anything. I was just trying to write stand-up. And kind of the premise was, look, I know what I am, but apparently a lot of people don't. And I wrote 10 ways how to tell how you might be a redneck. But what I found when I was doing them, people were laughing and then they were turning around and pointing at somebody. And I'm like, maybe there's something here. I would get advice like, look, Jeff, not for none, right?
Isn't that funny? Oh, I'm so glad he didn't take their advice. And he used his own accent. Yeah. It's refreshing to hear other accents, for sure. And it was the spawn of his redneck thing. Here is some footage that we have seen before. This looks like it's been kind of enhanced in a certain way. But it's from the old Russian clip of Skinny Bob and some of the other entities. Check this out from Russia. We don't need that music. But yes, this is a real alien. And Bernie Mendez, whom I've talked to on the phone, claims that he knew the guy. He knew Skinny Bob. He was one of the 4 people in the U.S. government that could telepathically communicate with these extraterrestrials. And he said Skinny Bob was such a nice guy that he was the only one that they would let come and go as he pleases because he was such a nice guy. There's some more footage of some other aliens, very similar looking. Yes, they're real. They're just as real as we are, for sure. And Fox News put this out. Thanksgiving gas prices fall to lowest levels since pandemic, you might even say, with nearly 30 states below $3 a gallon. And then WTO 11, gas prices drop in Ohio ahead of Thanksgiving. And then Fox 31 says cheapest gas prices in Denver hit less than $2 Sunday ahead of Thanksgiving weekend. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? And did you, the order they feared now in motion. Did you hear about what happened at the, in Washington, D.C. today? There was 2 National Guardsmen that were executed by, and now they found out who it was. We'll look at that when we go over to X. It's an illegal Afghani who, said what they always say, Allah Akbar, when he shot the 2 and killed them. So brutal. We have to get all of these illegals out. Yes. And here is the song Yesterday, redone by this woman who is spot on. She sounds just like Karen Carpenter. And when I was a kid, the Carpenters songs always were one of my favorites on the radio. Just so fresh. It's such a beautiful voice. Beautiful songs, and this woman captures the voice perfectly. Take a listen.
When I was young, I'd listen to the radio, waiting for my favorite songs. When they played, I'd sing along. It made me smile. Every sha-la-la-la, every woe still shines. to sing so fine. When I was young, I'd listen
And that's
to
Harriet. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. Operation Shutdown says Andrew Pachago said Bernie Mendez was the Indiana Jones of the U.S. time-space program. That's an awesome moniker that he gave him. Yes. And keep your prayers out for Andy, by the way. And Cap 78 Pack says, yes, I've heard and studied what happened today. So sad, and praying for their families and fellow troops. So incredibly sad. That just, that makes everyone double down to get all of these creeps out. All of them out. All these crooked creeps out that would do harm to Americans and law enforcement. Just so sick. So sick. Let's get back to Mayberry, where the sheriff didn't even have to carry a gun because that's how much they respected him. And he was fair with the people. That's what we need, a return to the good old days. And that's what Trump is starting to bring very, very methodically. And people say, oh, nothing's happening. A lot is happening. So much is happening all simultaneously. He's got really good people working on everything. So it's going to come to a point where everything's going to go pop, 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 and it's going to be glorious. And Piggy Dancer says, wow, now that's impressive. And she sounds just like Karen Carpenter. She certainly does. An old friend of mine met Karen Carpenter backstage in her later years. And she said that she was very skinny, but she sounded great. And she was backstage talking to her and everything. And so that was very, very cool to hear that. Yeah. Harriet. So go check her out. She's awesome. She's kind of like the identical voice. Only 3 countries in the whole world refuse to allow the COVID shots into their country. All 3 had their presidents assassinated. Gee, what a coincidence, not. Here are these men. In Burundi, it was President Pierre Nkurunziza. In Tanzania, it was President John Magufuli. And in Haiti, it was President Jovenel Moise. And they had the right idea. They knew it was a scam, but then they got killed. So when everyone says, oh, Trump should have just said no, well, we know how smart Trump is. I'm sure he noticed that and said, okay, well, let's just promote hydroxychloroquine then. Puns put this out. If we removed all of the margarine on Earth, the world would be a butter place. Oh, very butter place. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And look at this for all you UFO buffs out there. Why, it's I'm not even going to try and pronounce this. Boy, I would be a bad German. I couldn't be able to say anything. Hanabu 2 test flight featured in largest archive of German WW2 images. Look at that. Look at that. One of the either built by the Germans or gifted to the Germans by the aliens, or they helped Germany build it. There were aliens involved in one way or another. And wouldn't it be nice to get that truth out? Oh, and if you lived in the 80s, you might remember this car. It was a very popular car, and everyone wanted one, especially up here in the north where there's snow, because there was no such thing as a car like this. The 1984 AMC Eagle Wagon. From the sales brochure, the Eagle Wagon station wagon produced from 1980 to 1988 was a compact crossover that combined the Concorde's body style with Jeep hardware and four-wheel drive. It was an early crossover model with higher ground clearance and a 50-50 front-rear torque split. That's excellent. Drivers could switch between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive using a switch on the dash. And I actually wanted to get one of these. They also made them in a coupe, which really looked cool. I thought it was a dynamite car, and they sold quite a few of them for AMC. Do you remember that car? Oh, and Darkbrain says, I just got a phone call from my cousin that I haven't talked to in years. She lives in my town, but I just don't see her. That was nice. We are going to get together sometime. Oh, that's nice. That is beautiful. Look at that cool car. AMC could come back. They should. Wouldn't that be good? Donald Trump posted this to his Truth Social account. And this woman, she's one of the seditious six. I used to work for the CIA. I am formally trained in overthrowing governments. Now I am a Democrat in Congress. My speech could invoke a rebellion. That's called sedition. My voters are too low IQ to notice. I know one of them too. My friend Rob, the libtard. Brave enough to inject unknown substances into the body, but afraid to breathe air. Imagine that. That's how ludicrous and ridiculous the plan scam-demic was. Don't ever fall for that again. I know I won't. And I never did. This is how we save humanity. And this is from Doris D. Burt. This is how we save humanity. First, make vaccine manufacturers liable for injuries. There's a good idea. Second, ban all vaccine mandates for school, military, and employment. I think that's coming. Third, suspend all childhood vaccine schedule. I think that's coming too. Fourth, stop all pharmaceutical advertising. Dr. Peter McCullough, MD. He's a very smart man. And so nice that his silenced voice is not silent anymore. Top Air Force vet goes scorched earth on the seditious six Democrats. Let's listen to this from Trending Politics.
Hey everybody, this is Buzz Patterson. I'm a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, retired Air Force pilot, combat veteran, and at one time I was the military aide to President Bill Clinton and carried the nuclear football and actually lived in the White House. So I've been around. I was actually, during my military service, deployed to 70 countries and fought in 3 wars. So I feel like I've got a dog in this hunt. I am very appalled at what the Sedition Six has done with their video. I think it's a violation of their oaths of office, and especially in the case of Senator Mark Kelly, I believe it's a violation of the UCMJ, and I hope that President Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth hold them accountable. They are violating, and they are politically using their positions to undercut the command of President Donald J. Trump, and they're circumventing the chain of command. Congress and members of Senate are not in the chain of command. President Trump is, however, as our commander-in-chief. So I fully support going forward with whatever prosecutions are warranted and legitimate, and I think they are on these individuals. They use their positions, military and in the intelligence community, to expose, I think, and put at risk those of us who serve in uniform. I think that what's going to happen is because they violated the military chain of command, people are going to die. They undercut the underpinnings of the military, which is good order and faith and trust in their leadership. And in my estimation, what they did was treasonous and seditionist, and I hope they are prosecuted to the full extent. Again, my name is Buzz Patterson. I served in combat. I've served for 20 years, and I am outraged by what has happened by the Democrats, and I fear for what's going to happen to our young soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines if they choose to violate what is a legal order, which will ruin their lives and ruin their careers. Thank God, guys. God bless. See you.
Thank you, Buzz. Appreciate that. Yes. Spoken like a true vet. And look at this. Breaking out of St. Paul, the situation deteriorating fast. See more. The federal operation on Rose Avenue in St. Paul triggered a rapidly growing mob that clashed with federal agents earlier today. See, this is what happens when these seditious people put messages out like that. And the Democrats constantly railing against everything Trump does. It has consequences. What started as a small gathering around 10 a.m. exploded into hundreds of protesters by noon. We know that's artificial then, don't we? Many attempting to obstruct federal officers. Local residents to Alpha News. Pop-up protests grew from a couple dozen around 10 o'clock a.m. to hundreds by noon. At least one protester taken into custody. I think they should take them all into custody. Tear gas several times with crowd control by SPPD, St. Paul Police Department. The image says it all. Streets filled, chaos unfolding, officers overwhelmed, tear gas deployed. This is the second day in a row that St. Paul and Minneapolis have seen violent confrontations in response to ICE operations. Well, you know, they better get used to it because they're only going to send more now. Wait a minute, is this a midget? Well, you know, these protests are expensive because all these people are paid. And I can't help to think that, you know, maybe the midgets work for half scale. Just kidding. Just kidding. No disrespect to the little people. I think they're great. All things tincture and natural healing. I don't know what that is. Anyway, we've seen this before too. Donald Trump retruth this. Thank you, Kanye. Very cool. Kanye West. Hi, Donald. I drew a picture of you and me, of me and you. I don't know. It's kind of dumb, but I thought you would like it. I don't know. Kanye, Trump, holding hands and a flower. That's sun and birds. Oh, that's pretty cool. Too cool for school, you might even say. This is from Frens B. Gloss. YouTube just agreed to pay President Trump $24 million for suspending his account in 2021. Facebook agreed to pay Trump $25 million for suspending him. Twitter agreed to pay Trump $10 million for suspending him. ABC News agreed to pay Trump $15 million to settle a defamation lawsuit. 60 Minutes agreed to pay Trump $16 million for editing Kamala Harris's interview. Censorship and lies are finally coming back to bite big tech. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you got fake news. You're going to be paying the person you're trying to attack, and it's just going to backfire tremendously. America's last line of defense. The Clinton Foundation has lost its status as a tax-exempt charity after a Pentagon audit uncovered more than $100 million in defense contracts awarded to the foundation. Franchises. It was the perfect scam, said Lieutenant Colonel J.A. Barron of the Army JAG Corps. Army JAG. That's good to hear. They got the money tax-free and being lied to a charity, and the charity's bank account stays clean. They've also been barred from any other form of government grants or loans. Oh, good. Looks like they'll have to dig into that 1.2 billion they made selling our nuclear stockpile to Russia. Yeah, our uranium stockpile. Here's the seditious six. Mao and Lenin are very proud of American Democrats. They have special talent for stoking rebellion. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they did. And that's why we're seeing a new explosion of violence against law enforcement. Terrible. Children who are completely unvaccinated are healthiest. Dr. Peter McCullough, MD. See more. In the modern day, going natural, meaning no vaccines whatsoever, the child is healthier. Here's the evidence to back up such vaccine injury. 2020 study on 1,827 kids, unvaccinated children had significantly lower rates of asthma, ear infections, ADHD, allergies, and neural development disorders. 2017 study, 6,000 and participants. Vaccinated kids were 4.5 times more likely to have asthma, 22 times more likely to need allergy medication, and over 30 times more likely to have allergic rhinitis. The New Zealand survey, over 200 unvaccinated kids, almost zero chronic illnesses, no asthma, no eczema, no seizures, no diabetes. Amish study. Amish rate roughly 1 in 15,000 versus national average of 1 in 36. So autism in the Amish community that does not get any vaccinations, 1 in 15,000, that one might have been adopted too and been vaccinated. And we have average of 1 in 36 of vaccinated having autism. It's just sickening. It's so sick. The fully vaccinated are winning. The fully unvaccinated are winning health by a landslide. Parents are waking up fast. When did you wake up? Were you always on the side of truth? Opposite of big pharma? Oh yeah. Or was 2020 COVID 2 weeks to flatten the curve your wake-up call? I guess it kind of was I always had a feeling about it, and I wish I never would have vaccinated my kids. Of course, there's a lot less of them back then, and I can't help but think my son who has asthma, that's probably why, and I feel bad about that. It's so sad what our stupid healthcare thing has come up to. President Trump has just signed an executive order defining for the first time the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. That's good. HUD launches hotline to crack down on crime. Illegal immigrants in public housing. Good. This hits different now. Laura Silsby tried to smuggle 33 Haitian children across the border, claiming they were orphans. Many had parents still searching for them. Bill Clinton's lawyer defended her. She was cleared of charges, and today she runs the tech company AlertSense. Isn't that sickening? Bill Clinton. And here's that song from so long ago, 1972 to be exact, by Edward Bear, a Canadian group. And it was very popular. It was always on the radio, and it's a great song. And I remembered it from way back then. So take a listen to this. Okay. I have to hold on a second. We're almost there. I have to re-put this to the front so we get the very beginning of the song. And I have to share this tab instead. There it goes. Here we go. All righty, you ready? It's called Last Song by Edward Bear with lyrics. So check this out. Do you remember this song? I do. Oh, here we go.
Did you know I'd go to sleep and leave the lights on, hoping you'd come by and know that I was home, still awake? But 2 years go by and still my light's on. This is hard for me to say, but this is all that I can take. It's the last song I'll ever write for you. It's the last time that I'll tell you just how much I really care. This is the last song I'll ever sing for you. You come looking for the light, and it won't be there, but I love you. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. All the times that I spent waiting, wondering where you are, always knew the time would come when I would start to wonder why. Now the time is here, I don't know where you are. So I'll write you one more song, but it's the last time that I'll try. It's the last song I'll ever write for you. It's the last time that I'll tell you just how much I really care. This is the last song I'll ever sing for you. You come looking for the light, and it won't be there, but I love you. Oh, yes, I do. It's the last song I'll ever write for you. It's the last song I'll ever write for you. It's the last song I'll ever write for you. It's the last song I'll ever write for you.
Isn't that just a beautiful song?
Best Buy has thousands of Black Friday deals.
Uh-oh. If you want to check that out, it's Edward Bear. It's called Last Song, and it's just a beautiful song. There they are. A Canadian group. It went to #1 in Canada and many other places. It made it to #3 in America, but I'm telling you, if you were around in the 70s, you may have heard that song. And I even asked, I remember this song. Do you? And what were my answers? Mary House, that I went to school with, said, yes, I sure do. And let's see, 3 comments. And Kathy Weiss said, I never heard this song before. Well, do you like it? And then Julie Welter says, yes, I do. I liked it. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's a great song. And it just came back to me in a memory. I just remembered like a part of a verse. And I looked it up. Oh, yeah, that is a great, great song. The horns and really music really upped the game in the 70s. And welcome to Rose Thistle Art. Good to see you here. And Cap 78 Pack says, hello, Rose Thistlehart. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Isn't that nice? She says, she salutes to Peggy Dancer. Hi, happy Thanksgiving back at ya. Isn't that nice? Then she says, Dark Brain, hi, good to see you. That's awesome. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put the chat on the screen. Gosh darn it. And I've been sick. I missed my Monday show, and I did not make it to my mom's house because I was very, very sick in bed. But there we go. Tall and big. There it goes. And Rosas Lart says, I remember that song. It was a great song. I mean, there were some really good songs in the 70s. And Matt Sewell 751 says, what do you feel is going on with 3-Eye Atlas? You know, it's really hard to say because there's so many images out there and none of them correlate with each other. It's just, I don't know. It's just so weird. I don't think we might not ever figure it out. It's really far away to get a clear picture of it, but it's going to go by Jupiter. And when it does, one of our probes out by Jupiter is going to turn its cameras and catch it. So that might be the closest we can look at it. It's going to be closest to Earth in December, but it's not really that close. Right? Oh, and Rosa started, no, I thought you were traveling. I was gonna, but I was just sick in bed. I haven't been that sick in over 10 years. I haven't been sick at all for over 10 years. But some rest and very little food helped, I guess. And look who's here. It's Chroniviewer. Hello, Chroniviewer. Hi, Aaron. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks, buddy. And Dark Brain says, hello, Rose Thistlehart. Hello, Miss. Happy Thanksgiving. Dark Brain says, hello, Chronovisor. Hey, buddy. And Rose Thistlehart says, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Dark Brain. And oh, look who else is here. Why, it's Mrs. Pinkerton. Hello, Mrs. Pinkerton. Hello, Aaron and friends. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Well, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. And Matt says, I think Secret Space Program built out an asteroid. That could be. You know, stranger things have been true. And Dark Brain says, Mrs. Pinkerton, happy Thanksgiving. Everyone's saying hi. And Kathy says hi to Chroniviewer. And Mrs. Pinkerton says, same to you, Dark Brain. And Kathy says, hi, Rose Thistlehart. Isn't that nice? All right. Well, ending the war. Did you hear that apparently Ukraine has signed the deal, tentative deal, some issues to be worked out, which always is a conundrum. Oh, what's going on here? What is going on here? That shouldn't be on there. Share this instead. There it is. Boy, I'm sorry about that. We just played an ad for somebody. Ending the war. There's the post about the Trump team getting Zelensky and or Ukraine to agree to the 28-point deal. I don't think it's as good as the first time it was offered. It wouldn't get any better with time either. And Nick Sorter put this out. Major breaking. The Department of War is considering recalling Democrat Senator Mark Kelly, the seditious person, to active duty to be court-martialed. Yes, let's televise it. For telling troops to refuse President Trump's orders. FAFO is in order. Yeah, statement from the Department of War. The Department of War has received serious allegations of misconduct against Captain Mark Kelly, U.S. Navy, retired, in accordance with the Uniform Code of Military Justice, 10 U.S.C. 688, and other applicable regulations. A thorough review of these allegations has been initiated to determine further actions. Well, that's good. I hope they give him everything he deserves, which is nothing good. Brendan Dilley says, Democrats have totally and completely surrendered all policy arguments and ideas. They don't even attempt to promote legislation and ideas anymore. They really don't. Everything is about resisting Trump, regardless of the effect on America. This isn't politics, it's domestic terrorism. I agree. It is domestic terrorism. Oh, here's a latest picture of Three Eye Atlas. Oh, look at that. Reminds me of something we saw on, Superman 2? Oh, yeah. Remember those characters that were stuck in that ice sheet? Or was it glass or a mirror or something? NASA releases another amazing clear image of Three Eye Atlas. So funny. Yeah, it's a clown show out there. And, I've talked about so many different images that none of them look like each other. But we go with what's out there, and you got to take a look at it all. Breaking, Ron DeSantis just called for Congress to lose their pensions. Good idea. If regular Americans don't get a lifetime pension for doing a mediocre job, then politicians in D.C., sure as HE double toothpicks, shouldn't either. I agree, Ron. Just now, Representative Ilhan Omar, the illegal Democrat from Minnesota, Somalia, reportedly livid after President Trump terminates Somali migrants' temporary legal status in all of Minnesota. Oh, yes, this is good. Her people have stolen hundreds of millions of federal dollars, and it's now been exposed. We're taking our country back. Yes, go back to where you came from. Oh, look at this. Things are getting out of hand. Look at that from Puns. Thank you, Puns. We needed that just about right now. Don't you think? Oh. Oh, and Darkbrain says, imprisoned in the crystal. Yes. And Operation Shutdown says, General Zod stuck in the Phantom Zone. Yes. LOL from Darkbrain. And Roast This Alert says, the Somalis have been strong-armed by people taking their ballot vote. They are probably relieved. Well, I don't know. I don't think the Somalis are relieved. They like ripping us off. It's pretty disgusting what they did. And they should never have come in the first place. That was Obama that dropped 80,000 Somalis in one area, which created a new seat. That's how Ilhan Omar got in, because it was all her people voting for her. Disgusting. Shouldn't be allowed to happen. Breaking, Ukraine agrees to peace deal with some details still to be worked out, U.S. official says. I hope they get it fixed, soon. Mike Johnson says, House GOP working full steam ahead on Trump's affordability. Oh, I hear my phone ringing, but it's in the other room. I can't get it right now. I know it's probably Kathy calling because I left something on the screen. Thank you, Kathy. I hear my phone, but I just can't get up right now and get it. On the affordability agenda. Steam ahead on Trump's affordability agenda. Oh, good. Here's another one of the seditious six, scum, I called her. Democrat who told troops to disobey Trump, forced to admit she can't name one illegal order. From the Hodge twins. Oh, and you remember this? We've talked about this before, but it's a fact and it's true. On June 4th, 1963, John F. Kennedy, JFK, signed Executive Order 11110 to restore control of the money supply of the United States back to the people, interest-free. With a stroke of a pen, JFK stripped the Federal Reserve of its power to loan money to the government at interest and declared that the privately owned Federal Reserve would soon be out of business. Within 5 months, he was killed, and Lyndon Johnson reversed the order. Lyndon Johnson is a scumbucket. Let me just say that. Oh, and what's this? Space Eye put this out. If Mars is harsh, Venus is a nightmare mode. These Venera landers, these are Russian landers, lasted less than an hour before being crushed and fried. In that short time, they gave us the only pictures we saw. So check this out. Apparently, the atmospheric pressure is very similar to the very bottom of our deepest oceans, which, submarines can be crushed. And so the Veneras were crushed. 2 of them landed and got pictures. So thanks, Russia, for giving us the first view. That's back in the 70s. See, a lot happened in the 70s. A jury found Somalis in Minnesota guilty of fraud and stealing millions of American tax dollars. A left-wing judge just decided to toss out the jury's guilty verdict. We have a judicial crisis in this country. Oh, yeah, I would say so. You hear about Charlie Sheen? Charlie Sheen red-pilled himself. He turned off the leftist propaganda on TV and started doing his own research. And now he's one of us. He's seen the light, and he's not hypnotized by the games that the evil people are playing on the mainstream satanic media. Oh, what's this? Christopher Williams put this out. Democrats were sent by God, she says. And he says, why? Was he out of locusts? Yeah, he probably was. Thanks, Groucho. And Caroline Levitt put this out. This story is completely made up. In fact, when the fake news published, I was in the Oval Office where President Trump was meeting with his law enforcement team, including FBI Director Kash Patel. I read the headline to the president, and he laughed and said, "What? That's totally false. Come on, Kash. Let's take a picture and to show them you're doing a great job." Do not believe the fake news. Look at that. That's a great picture of those two. Thanks, Bongino Inc. Pam Bondi's team just located 121 missing children in Memphis. Elvis would be proud. Thank you. In case you have forgotten, Steve Olsky from Facebook Conservatives put this out. In case you have forgotten, this is Susan Rosenberg and Linda Sue Evans, 2 left-wing activists who on November 7th, 1983, ignited a bomb in the U.S. Capitol that tore through the second-floor Senate wing in an attempt to assassinate Republican senators on his last day in office on January 20th, 2001. President Bill Clinton commuted their sentences to time served at the request of New York Democrat Representative Jerry Nadler. The Penguin. The first domestic terrorist attack against our capital, including the attack of March 1st, 1971, was by left-wing radical activists and not by Trump supporters, January 6, 2021, as the mainstream lamestream media is trying to make you believe. And they were forgiven by Democrats. So sick. Doesn't she look like, who's that person? Mad Cow? I think her name is Mad Cow. Looks kind of like her. Something about that look. Breaking, President Trump will sign an executive order banning universal mail-in voting and require voter ID for every ballot cast in the United States. That's a good idea. It should have already been there. And did you hear about this? If you have Campbell's chicken noodle soup in your cupboards, toss it or bring it back for a refund. Leaked audio exposes Campbell's executive bombshell comments on soup ingredients. Here's what he said. This is from Slick Lily, U.S. Department of Memes Group official. Here's what he said. We have SHIT for effing poor people. Who buys our SHIT? I don't buy Campbell's products, barely anymore. It's not healthy. Now, and then I know what's effing in it, bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer. So get rid of that Campbell's chicken noodle soup and probably likely every other Campbell's product. The problem is that Campbell's is such a big company, they could buy up all the other soup companies. Make your own soup. That's a good idea. If you're bothered by the Epstein list, wait until you find out about their hunting parties. Yeah, and you know, there was a Gilligan's Island episode about this. This hunter came to the island. He was looking for a remote island to do some hunting, only to find out there were no wild animals. So he decided to hunt one of them, and he picked Gilligan. And the deal was if he could elude him for 24 hours, the guy would leave. And he did. He eluded him for 24 hours. But that's, you know, there's a lot of truth in Gilligan's Island, let me just say. Why are Democrats against voter ID in the U.S.? Here's a list of all the countries that require voter ID. Not the U.S., but Haiti does, Iraq does, Colombia does, Pakistan does, Nigeria. All of these little countries, they require an ID because that's the logical thing to do. If you want to cheat, you don't want that because then you can cheat. That's how every Democrat made it into office, because their policies certainly couldn't have gotten them in there. Could they have? No. On behalf of the First Lady and the entire Trump family, I want to wish all Americans a very happy Thanksgiving, President Trump. Let's take a listen.
On behalf of the First Lady and the entire Trump family, I want to wish all Americans a very, very happy Thanksgiving. It's a great time of the year, and our country is doing really well economically like we've never done before. Today, we continue a time-honored American tradition. Well, that's a well-trained turkey. See how happy he is? In a few moments, I will grant a full, absolute, and unconditional presidential pardon to two handsome Thanksgiving turkeys, and this is their lucky day. This is a lucky day for them.
He was going to name them Chuck and Nancy, but he would never pardon them. So funny. He's such a troll. He's a born troll. And from the Epoch Times, 3,100 arrested in Memphis operation. That's fantastic. Fantastic. And here is some more images of that tridactyl that they found, the mummies they found in Peru. You see the eggs clearly in the abdomen there of the female, obviously a female. Close up of the three-fingered hand with tendons and muscles still, and skin still visible. There's also a metal plate right here and other places on the body. Osmium, which is something we only just learned about fairly recently. And it's very difficult to get. Trump is your president for the next 3 years, says Cat Turd, and 2 months. He can't run for president again. And Cat Turd says, fake polls don't matter. Your special feelings don't matter. Your constant whining about Trump's every move doesn't matter. Your protests don't matter. Your crying TikTok videos don't matter. Backstabber Thomas Massey and Marjorie Trader Green don't matter. Your fake MAGA is dead posts don't matter. Gaslighting fake news doesn't matter. This country would be dead, gone, cooked and over if drunk Kamala would have won this election. Trump saved the country. Yes, he certainly did. If you don't understand this simple fact, you're clueless. And right now, you'd be enjoying another 50 million illegal invaders over the next 4 years, and that would be all she wrote for the USA. And I couldn't agree more. We need to get them out, and there needs to be laws passed that they can't come back. Any of those people, and only legal immigration and merit-based, no criminals. Trump signs order launching Genesis mission. You hear about this? To expand federal use of artificial intelligence. They're going to use artificial intelligence to solve all kinds of problems. And this is a really, really cool, like the Manhattan Project. This is really awesome. And expect some big news from this effort in very short order, I would imagine. AI works instamatically. Donald Trump, whatever happened to Senator Rand Paul? He was never great, but he went really bad. I got him elected twice in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, but he just never votes positively for Republican Party. He's a nasty little guy, much like Congressman Thomas Massey, a.k.a. Rand Paul Jr., also of Kentucky, which I won 3 times in massive landslides. A sick wacko who refuses to vote for our great Republican Party, MAGA, or America First. It's really weird. Notice how he called Rand Paul little, Liddle, little guy. That's the same little he used for Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff. And if you research that word, it has some kind of connotation to pedophiles. So he's calling them out right there and doing a good job of it. Oh yeah, we already saw that. And racism will end when the Democrats stop using it as a political weapon. True. Very true. And Trump truthed this out. This is glorious. Seditious behavior, punishable by death. And there's an image there. Treason will never be tolerated in America. I want televised military tribunals with Barack Insane Obama in the background. Great meme. And here is 2 images of those 2 mummies from Peru that are obviously, definitely not human. Humanoid. The Huaycay mummy of Huaro, Peru. Look at that skull. That was one smart kid. So sad that he or she passed away. But yeah, you can see the eye there. There's part of the eye in there. Wow, from Brian Forrester. Thanks, Brian. And Trump put this out. U.S. government admits chemtrails are real. It's worse than you think. Dane Wigington reveals all. Yes, we've known. When I was a kid, I used to look up at airplanes all the time. I was so fascinated by them. And every single time I looked up in the 60s, 70s, and I think even part of the 80s, the contrail was maybe 2 or 3 airplane lengths of the airplane at whatever distance it was. Now, of course, you see these streaks going all across the sky. Those are not contrails. Do not believe that nonsense. News. President Trump will sign a surprise executive order today. Well, did he do it? I'm not sure. And here is some pictures from 2018 at my folks having a very nice visit. First time in a year, too long. Yeah. I'm glad that I made it for that one. Let's see if this works. There's the entertainment center with a bunch of my mom's sculptures and her birds and ducks and photos of family and the TV. Just a nice home in Minnesota. And there is an oil painting by my mom of some sailboats, pictures of me and my big brother when we were really little. And here's a watercolor painting I did. And right here behind the light is a picture of all of the people that worked for the railroad, including my grandfather. Both my grandfathers worked for the railroad, but my grandpa on my mom's side is in this picture with a bunch of other folks. So that's pretty cool. There's a portrait I did of my kids, watercolor, AJ and Alicia, Aaron Jr. and Alicia. There's my dad, who sadly is no longer with us, and my mom. And yeah, here's some pictures of my dad here back in the 50s. My mom and dad when they first started going out, and two of my mom's paintings. She is a great artist. And here's my dad with one of my cousins. Oh, there's me in the basement. And these sculptures over here, horse riders, like Western sculptures, those were in the White House, in Trump's White House. So there you go. That's a little preview of my folks' place over there in Minnesota. I really miss my dad, and I miss my mom too. So hopefully I can get to see her for Christmas. Gina Milan put this out. Actually, neuropath Leslie Zippy. To all Democrats pretending to care about Epstein's victims, spare me the fake outrage. You're the same ones letting grown men into little girls' bathrooms. Shut up. I agree. Thanks, Gina. Oh, and here's one from 2023. And here's Evan meeting his cousin. Look at that. Oh, so nice. Let's see what these other two are. There's my mom holding Evan. I think Evan might be too heavy for her now. And there's me holding Evan. And there's the Thanksgiving feast. Always wonderful. My mom makes homemade rolls. And it's all very, very lovely and delicious. The best, you might even say. And there's Evan meeting his cousin. Very cool. Too cool for school, you might even say. And this little boy's mom, which is right here, was friends with Evan's mom, which is my daughter, Alicia. So now they have kids almost the same exact age. Very nice. Did you know the person who invented the Ferris wheel never met the person who invented the merry-go-round? No, never met. They traveled in different circles. Very different circles. Horizontal and vertical. Horizontal, vertical. Very different circles. And that's from Puns. Thanks, Puns. I like that. Biden terminating border wall construction contracts. Yeah. Should have picked the legal route. Now you're stuck with us. Yes, barriers do work. Some lessons cut deep. In April 2021, sleepy, creepy, crooked Joe Biden said, border walls don't work. If you don't build them, they don't work. That's right. You didn't finish building them. That's why they didn't work. Yeah. Breaking. J.D. Vance just obliterated Senator Elisa Slotkin after she slipped up on TV and admitted the truth. President Trump issued 0 illegal orders. Here is the Stray Cats from Rockabilly Italia. And this is, I think, from 1990. 1990. Tearing into a Roy Orbison rock house live 1980. Pure Rockabilly fire. Check this out. And for the censors over there on YouTube, this is for entertainment or for educational purposes only. Okay? Check it out. Great song. They do a great version of it.
The reason he signed it was, he said, because he liked little chicken on the label. So we thought that was good enough reason to play this song.
Blue lights, big crowd, jukebox, real loud. No heartaches, no cares. Tonight we're gonna rock it everywhere. Rock house, rock house. Hold on, little baby, we're going on to the rock house. We'll rock it in the evening, rock it in the night, rock it in the morning, and rock it like hell. Rock house. We're going to the rock house, rock house. No worries, nobody, no cares. All this, you're gonna lose. I'm gonna rock away all the blues. Rock house. Oh, we're going to the rock house, rock house. We'll rock it in the morning, rock it in daylight, rock it in the evening, and rock it through the whole night. Rock house. We're going to the rock house, rock house. Rock it in the evening and rock it in the night. Rock it in the city and rock it through the night, baby. Rock house. We're going to the rock house. We'll rock it in the morning, rock it in daylight, rock it in the evening, and rock it through the whole night, baby. Rock house. We're going to the rock house.
So Rock House by Roy Orbison, done there by the Stray Cats, rockabilly legends themselves. Did you hear this? A limbo dancer married a locksmith. The wedding was low-key. Very low-key, I'd say. Thanks, dad jokes. Don't you love those dad jokes? Oh, yeah. Oh, Breaking White Coat Waste Project puts this out. Breaking Trump administration and RFK Jr. deliver CDC completely shuts down taxpayer-funded monkey labs. Oh, good. Those poor little monkeys. Now they're not going to be injected with poisons anymore. Thank goodness. Thank you, RFK Jr. That's really awesome. Too cool for school, you might even say. And, you know, with AI, as good as it is, they can... they will be training AI, they probably already are, to say, okay, what if we put this into someone? Well, they shouldn't put anything in people. We already have everything we need. When we were born with everything we need. That's my opinion. And I'm sticking with it. DC Drano says, how about instead of a vaccine registry, we have a registry of everyone that wanted others to be injected against their will? These are the truly dangerous people in our country. U.S. Department of Memes. Thank you. You know what? I think we're going to go over to X really quick because it looks like the show is running a little long. So we're going to go over to X marks the spot for news and see what's popping over there, shall we now? And here is the scum bucket that shot those two National Guard warriors that their families are going to be spending the holidays alone now without their fathers. This is so sad. Breaking: the National Guard shooter has been identified as Ramadaliwa Lakawal, an Afghan illegal who entered the United States under the Biden administration in 2001 and reportedly yelled Allah Akbar during the attack. Sick. Throw the book at this scum bucket. You know? Throw him in. Give him whatever. Oh, and there's our show. Number 701. And here is, quite frankly, he was on tonight. Did a great job with Ray Gulanello. Great show. He always puts on a good show. And here's a picture of that scum bucket right here. Look at this guy. He doesn't even have any clothes on. He's an idiot and a violent idiot. So throw him in the clinker for life. Let's do that. Did you hear what's happening on the sun? On the other side of the sun has been busy with nonstop explosions and coronal mass ejections these past few days. And these active regions are soon to rotate into view and face Earth. Look at these. I've never seen explosions like this before. Look at that. That's scary because if a big enough coronal mass ejection hits the Earth, it could tip us off our axis, which is probably how we got where we are now. We're not exactly straight up and down. We're tilted. And that could cause worldwide tsunamis. We're talking about hundreds of miles high tsunamis going over every landmass. So get your surfboard, hang on tight to that darn surfboard. It might just save you if that happens. Just bring it with you wherever you go. I got to get me one of those things. Yeah, it's very, very scary. Very scary indeed. And here's Pete Hegseth talking about the horrifying thing that happened today. Let's check it out.
Myself and my team were notified that 2 National Guardsmen have been shot in Washington, D.C., critically wounded. The shooter shot in a cowardly, dastardly act targeting the best of America, heroes willing to serve in Washington, D.C., serve for people they don't know and they've never met, because they love their country and their capital and their community. They were willing to do dangerous things others were not because they love their fellow Americans. Someone decided to turn that into targeting National Guardsmen. That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army, to the National Guard to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful. The drop in crime has been historic. The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down. President Trump will never back down. That's why the American people elected him. America and our warriors, our National Guardsmen, are strong. And so we're following this very closely. We're getting information rapidly. And I mentioned the faith of this country, the Christian faith, the prayers. I would ask for prayers for our National Guardsmen.
Excuse me, Mr.
Appeals to heaven for our National Guardsmen, for their families, on bended knee as a War Department, as a nation.
Excuse me.
We will never back down.
Excuse
We think about them right now.
Venezuela.
We had a couple of great, productive meetings with the President and Minister of Defense here, where we are dedicated to the counter-cartel effort here. Criminality knows no boundaries, whether it's the United States of America and Washington, D.C., or it's the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere. We are going to go after narco terrorists. It will not stand. Our borders will be secure, whether it's the Dominican Republic or the United States of America, and we look forward to working with our partners to make it happen. You know, President Trump believes in a clear principle: peace through strength. You get peace by being strong. And if you're a narco terrorist who wants to bring drugs to the United States of America, we will find you, we will fix you, and we will finish you, because we have all the rights in the world. We've got lots of attorneys and lots of intel analysts. We know exactly who we're targeting and why. If you're involved in that conduct, we will kill you. It's that deadly serious because of the poison that has made its way into the American public for far too long. President Trump is serious about it. We're serious about it. And we're proud to be working with the Dominican Republic, another country very serious about ensuring that cartels don't set the agenda. We do. Thank you very much. It's been a great series of meetings. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. He's doing a great job. That's why they didn't want him, the Dems, because they knew he'd do a great job. There he is. Yep, they stripped him like a dog, because that's what he is. He's an animal. Taking lives like that. What an idiot. Here's what Trump said about it. The animal that shot the two National Guardsmen, with both being critically wounded, now they're passed away, and now in two separate hospitals, is also severely wounded, but regardless, will pay a very steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. These are truly great people. I, as President of the United States, and everyone associated with the office of the presidency, I'm with you. Here's another vision of the sun exploding. Look at that. Oh my goonie. It's explosive. Very explosive. And if you ever watched Corey Goode back many years ago already, he said that a solar flash is going to hit Earth. By what they told him, he estimated it was going to be around 2030, between like 2026 and 2030. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope we miss it. I hope it misses us, because that's pretty dangerous. The sun is the life giver and the life taker. So let's pray that the sun keeps calm and still when those active regions are facing us. So dangerous. This is going around on the internet. Facebook account did reverse image search of this and found it was one of two giant rock carvings featuring an ancient Chinese poet and a Chinese legendary hero that was unveiled in Zanishan Mountain in Xinjiang, central China's Hubei province. They got such interesting names. So you can see the scaffolding there. But this is what was released, and they said, oh, it appeared. There was a landslide, and it just appeared. That's not true. So fake news. But, so I posted this one first, and I thought, well, I don't know if it's true or not. But then I looked in the comments, and that's why I posted the one just before this. Breaking its official, President Trump has just signed an executive order directing Secretary Rubio to classify the Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign terrorist organization. Yes. Oh, and Jeremy Kenyon put this out, and he says, yes, I think folks are reviewing some of what's been said and beginning to realize that Bob Lazar has been telling it like it is for decades. Fascinating times. What will we learn next? Bob on Joe Rogan's podcast was epic and ahead of its time. Well, he was ahead of his time when he broke out in Nevada on the local news there and told about this. Just a reminder, this guy explained motion of UFOs through gravity fields in 1989, 36 years ago, as we approach the age of disclosure. That's so weird because disclosure happened really 36 years ago. That's the way I see it. Just because the mainstream media didn't pick up on it doesn't mean it's not true. I'm so sick of that. Here's Carrie Lake, and she's just awesome. Let's hear what she has to say.
How secure? That's the big question. It's the most important issue. And I've said it, I got canceled, I got called names. I don't care, because if we do not secure our elections and bring about election reform so that one legal vote per legal voter is what we have, and it's on election day, not election month, and there's not all kinds of mail-in ballots with no chain of custody, we're going to lose our country. And then all the things we've done won't matter because we'll lose our country. It's the most important issue. I'm going to continue talking about it. As a matter of fact, maybe over at Voice of America, we'll get some investigative reporters in who want to look at election fraud and election malfeasance across the globe, because we know it's not just in America that we have election fraud. Look at what's happened in Venezuela. Look at what happened in Brazil. Look what's happening in other countries where their elections are run like a banana republic. And so I think it's about time the whole world starts digging into who's really behind some of the malfeasance in our elections. And do we, the people of each country, truly get to choose our leaders? That's what it's about.
It is. Thanks, Carrie. You rock. And this is Nancy Mace. When I'm governor, we will assist President Trump with deporting more illegals than ever before. And if you're a business who hired them, you'll be fined $1,000 per day. Hold the line. Thanks, Nancy Mace. You're doing a great job. I hope you do win that. And this is, did you hear this? Developing footage of a man claiming he was stuck in a time loop for the 6th time. And the plane crashes and kills everyone on board each time. Check this out first. Why are you so afraid? It doesn't matter. Disaster will happen. So scared. And, nobody knows if that's true or not. Some guy just, freaked out on the airplane. But then Naughty something, Beaver, put this out. And this is someone doing a regression or remote viewing or something. Check it.
Are these time travelers or people who dabble with the time, the ones that are messing?
Not time travelers.
They mess with the time?
Extraterrestrials.
Oh, shoot. Doggone it.
Time travelers.
They mess with the time? Extraterrestrials. Are any of these extraterrestrials doing anything to cause this Mandela effect where one moment you're thinking one thing has happened and another moment something else has
Yes,
happened?
they twist the timelines. CERN.
CERN is doing it?
CERN.
So all of this Mandela effect is coming from CERN?
And other things. They play with the axial lines of Gaia.
What does it do when you do that?
They have tried to destroy the axial lines of Gaia, and sometimes they shut them off. It's almost like a bardo. It's almost like a death. They have tried to do the same thing with the sun.
Trying to shut off the sun?
And to destroy it. The
And this light, where is it coming from?
It's coming from God. I keep telling God's coming, but they don't understand. It's the sun.
It's the sun.
It's the sun. That's
Very interesting, don't you think? Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. It's getting kind of late, and we all have a big day tomorrow for big Thanksgiving. So I want to thank you all for coming along. You guys rock, because you are the Truth Questers. And we'll see you on Friday, because we do this Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because we're just downrange of strange, where the outrageous is contagious and the paranormal is the new normal. So keep your cameras pointed to the skies so you can take a picture of that crazy UFO and come on to the Truth Quest and talk all about it, because we would love that. Until then, peace in and happy Thanksgiving. And Dark Brain says, I hope you all have a lovely holiday. It was nice seeing everybody. And Chrono Viewer says, happy Thanksgiving. And I got to say, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And it looks like Operation Shutdown says, I will keep my camera pointed to the sky so I can take a picture of that crazy UFO and come on to the Truth Quest and talk about it. Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Then I said, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have fun and eat some good food. And Kathy says, same to you, Dark Brain. And Rose Thistleart says, happy Thanksgiving. Take care and feel better soon, Aaron. Yes, I'm on the mend. I'm not 100% yet, as you might be able to tell. But thank you. Cap78 Pack says, thank you, Aaron. Great show. Have a happy Thanksgiving to all. Peace in, and God bless you all. Much love, prayers, and a heart. Isn't that nice? And Dark Brain says, happy Thanksgiving. And Dark Brain says, happy Thanksgiving and peace in. All righty then. Oh, and Mrs. Pinkerton says, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a wonderful, safe holiday. Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Pinkerton. That's very lovely. And we'll see you all on Friday. Make sure to tell all your friends to tune in, because you never know. We might get some really good dad jokes. We might even learn something. You never know. Until then, oops. Operation Shutdown says, peace in, world peace, baby. That's right. Peace in, world peace, baby. That's right. We'll see you on Friday, right around 9 p.m. Central. Be there or be square.